what we can learn from it, and something that I want us all to think about doing together. The past 4 years have been really hard for me to get to this point of having this pregnancy. I've had a series of pregnancy losses, and also during this period of time I've been assuming my leadership with the Coalition on the Environment of Jewish Life as the head of that organization. So I took on a very sort of visible role in the community at a time when all of a sudden I was hit with this very personal, physical struggle to build a family. And in the beginning, my reaction to that was really to separate those two things and to be very quiet, dealing with this struggle, which a lot of women and families are, and men as well. You know, it's not something that you always talk about. And it affected my work. I was new on the job, and my bosses were asking me, you know, where's the work? Where's the product? Where's your visibility? How come you're not out there? And I didn't explain much. I just said, oh, you know, I'm really sorry I had this procedure and I haven't been feeling well and it's been hard. But I didn't really tell them what was going on or tell the community around me what I needed. And over time that became harder because the issue didn't go away. I kept trying to get and stay pregnant, and I was dealing with the environment and talking about climate change and energy policy and all the big picture struggles around us while dealing very privately with my small struggle. And at a certain point I decided that it wasn't working. I needed more community. I needed to have a conversation with the community. I needed people to know what was going on for me in order for me to be more effective in my leadership. So I wrote an article about it. I wrote an article about being pregnant and dealing with loss. And I published it in the Forward Sisterhood, and I'm very proud of that. And but it was one piece because the environmental and Jewish underpinnings of that story were very real to me and have a very real message. And when I came to Teva, I thought this would be a great opportunity to really explore that from a more communal perspective. So yesterday I sat with a group of 10 other amazing women to discuss environmental health and reproductive health from a Jewish spiritual perspective and what that means. And we had a multi-generational group of women from different places around the country. Everyone had something really passionate to share about their individual experience. And one thing that really became clear was a sense of kind of concern and resentment and challenge around the fact that we all are born into circumstances and into toxic exposure that we don't necessarily have control over. And at some point in our lives we have a revelation. I'm sure each one of you has gone through some kind of revelation about what you might be exposed to when you think about organic versus non-organic food, or you look for a bottle that has that doesn't have bisphenol A, BPA in it. Or you may not have thought of this, or you may have, but how many of us have metal mercury amalgam fillings in our mouth, which actually has a toxic in it? As we all know, mercury is actually quite toxic and can lead to fertility problems. So it's a challenge that we all share, and we're here together looking at Jewish environmentalism and what it means to affirm life among ourselves and to be together and to do something. And one thing that we can do about this very challenging circumstance of toxic exposure and the fact that there are 80,000 unregulated chemicals in the United States that we are exposed to and have to navigate as consumers, there's something very tangible that we can do to have a Jewish voice on this issue. And that is to join the campaign for better toxic regulation in this country. This past month, there was the National Mothers Stroller Brigade in Washington, D.C., where mothers took their strollers to say, we want to limit toxic exposure to ourselves and to our babies and our children. So if you go to safechemicals.org or take this mythical paper that I'm handing you right now, we can join together as Jews and have a spiritual voice on this.
That's great.